WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. The next 24 hours are shaping up to be active for much of North Mississippi as a line of strong storms is expected to move into the area. Our first alert team has been tracking this for days now. Let's go straight to meteorologist Jacob Dickey to get the very latest on the timing and any possible impacts. Jacob.
Andrea, we have been watching this for some time. Right now, not a lot happening, just some light showers pushing through the area. We'll be seeing some scattered showers overnight tonight ahead of the system, but the severe threat holds off until tomorrow morning. That's because our line of storms is still well off in Texas, parts of southeast Oklahoma, moving into northwest Arkansas and central Missouri. It will take some time to push to the east. That happens overnight, and by the time we start our Saturday, that's when our window of opportunity opens up. Now, they did issue a new tornado watch to the east. That will be in parts of eastern Arkansas. Nothing in our area yet. We do not expect a tornado watch until perhaps early tomorrow morning. You can go to bed tonight, but you may hear the wind rattling a little bit. We think we'll have winds overnight tonight from 15 to 25 miles an hour. Some gusts may approach 40. Because of that, there is a high wind advisory in effect. That will be non-severe, though, but I can't rule out some trees and power line damage from that ahead of this line of storms. The severe threat then comes after 6 a.m. We'll have more on the timing of that, a look at Futurecast, and full details on the impacts coming up in just a bit.
Well, today marks the 12th anniversary of an EF3 tornado that tore through the town of Caledonia. You may remember this. The high school there saw the most damage, losing several buildings and school buses. Our Stephanie Poole joins us in the studio with more on that. Stephanie?
Yes, Andrea, community members in Caledonia are remembering how far they've come since the tornado struck their town. While many buildings and roads were damaged, it did not break the spirit of the city. On January 10, 2008, Brandon Edmondson was just a kindergartner at Caledonia Elementary School.
I was in Miss Shannon Ingram's class. We knew it was going to be bad weather.
We knew it was coming for us. And so we kind of hunkered down. The electricity went off. Everyone got in their duck cover hold position, and it just went black.
An EF3 tornado hit Caledonia School, damaging and destroying several buildings in its path.
Glass out of all the car windows. There was a bus on top of a building. There was just so much damage.
I remember going past where Meteoros is now, and there was just no houses over there. It was just gone. I don't remember looking at the school or anything. I just remember the houses over there were gone, and I just remember seeing like a bunch of debris everywhere.
Margaret Davis says panic spread through her body because she didn't know if her child was safe.
There was a lot of fear. I felt like if anything, I would rather take my home rather than them. I mean, I really did have a fear of what would happen if they had let the children out.
12 years later, there are new buildings, new facilities, and a new approach when severe weather threatens the area. Residents here are more cautious and prepared.
I am very more cautious now because when storms come around, I get very kind of itchy about, okay, my home, is it going to be blown away? You know, is it going to be to where I can tell my children, okay, we need to do this?
Whenever bad weather is coming through, we always sit around and watch the weather. Nobody's in their own rooms. We're kind of all together, so we can always get up and go when we need to.
With severe weather expected this weekend, now is a good time to review your family's emergency action plan.
All right, Stephanie, good advice there. Well, past experiences have prompted many communities to build community shelters. There are several in Winston County. It takes a number of agencies working together to make these shelters operational and get them open to the public. The main goal is to just keep everyone safe.
We have a total of 9 shelters in Winston County, and it is a process to alert those 9 different entities on when to open a shelter. The way we announce that to the public is through social media, through calls, and through broadcasts on our radio system to let the public know that the shelters are open.
Remember now, WCBI also works with EMA directors to let our viewers know when those shelters are opening. Well, preparation is key to keeping the lights on also. The ground is still wet from recent rains, and this means that winds could easily topple trees. That's why crews from Fort County Electric Power Association are preparing before the dangerous gusts arrive. With thousands of members depending on electricity, these linemen are ready to move once the storms clear the area.
We've been watching the weather just like everybody else has, and we're a little bit concerned about it also. We've got all our trucks fueled up, got materials we need on them. We even going to have some guys bring trucks home with them tonight that don't normally do, just so they'll have a vehicle with them and they can roll to whatever trouble we have from their house.
The county provides electric service to more than 40,000 members in portions of 8 counties. Well, Mississippi State University officially introduces its new head coach at high noon today. There was a packed room of reporters and Bulldog faithful to hear from Mike Leach. Sports Director Tom Ebel also found a spot in the room this afternoon. He joins us now live from Starkville.
Mississippi State will officially be putting a lot of gold in the hands of a pirate. The ship officially landing in Starkville today as Mississippi State introduces Mike Leach as the 34th head coach in football program history. Leach, it's a new era for Mississippi State football, bringing the air raid to Starkville, something Mississippi State fans are definitely not used to in terms of ground and pound. This isn't the first stop in the SEC for Leach. He was the offensive coordinator at Kentucky in the late 90s. So why Mississippi State? Why come to the SEC? Leach says the investment in winning in football and the recruits were a big sell.
The commitment to football that the state of Mississippi has and the entire southeast region, and then the athletes that you have the opportunity to be a part of here, and they only become that way through incredibly hard work and dedication, and I wanted to be a part of that.
Leach had a lot to say about Mississippi as in terms of a big reason why he's now the head coach of the Bulldogs. We'll have more from Leach and Athletic Director John Cohen coming up a little bit later in the show. Reporting here inside the Leo Seal Complex in Starkville, Tom Ebel for WCBI Sports. Send it back to you in Columbus.
All right, Tom, thanks a lot. An area disaster relief group is branching out to do more than rebuild homes. They're trying to rebuild lives. We'll explain when we come back. Welcome back. A North Mississippi-based ministry known for helping people rebuild after natural disasters is also helping victims of human trafficking. Our Allie Martin tells us how they and another local ministry are teaming up to help local law enforcement.
8 Days of Hope is partnering with Grace and Mercy Ministries. That ministry was started by the Anchor Church, which earlier this year announced plans for Transformation Garden, a place of safe refuge, hope, and healing for victims of human trafficking.
Every waking hour is a volunteer hour that we need for people, for these girls as they are rescued and experiencing the freedom that Christ died to give them. And so that's a lot of volunteer hours that are needed.
We've got equine therapy.
That's why 8 Days of Hope hosted a meeting at its national headquarters to let pastors, ministry leaders, and others know about plans for Transformation Garden. Plans call for renovations at the Anchor Church for a safe shelter. 8 Days of Hope will help with those renovations and will also build a safe house for human trafficking victims.
They'll be one of the largest facilities in the southeast, right here in northeast Mississippi. So we're trying to encourage local churches and local volunteers who know 8 Days of Hope or know of the need to partner and help us make that happen.
Chickasaw County Sheriff Jim Myers knows human trafficking is a big concern in every community, and he says having a place where human trafficking victims can be taken for healing and hope is a big help.
Any type of resource in a situation like that, because when you're talking about someone that has been a victim of sex trafficking, how they're handled has a lot of bearing on on their recovery, because it's very very stressful, and it gets into their mental part, and it's a lot of stuff that has to take place to get them back to what I would call being normal.
Sheriff Myers and other experts encourage parents to be aware of their children's social media activities and report anything that doesn't seem right. Allie Martin, WCBI News.
Renovations at Transformation Garden could be complete by the summer. Well, a new service to help students dealing with food insecurity officially opens its doors on the Mississippi State campus. There was a ribbon cutting this morning for Bully's Closet and Pantry. Research from Temple University shows almost 36% of college students don't have enough to eat. At MSU, Bully's Closet and Pantry is stepping in to lend a hand.
Because we do have some students who struggle with this, and other students notice it and some don't notice it, and so we have to really think about how we can be a community of concern and we can make sure we're taking care of each other, whether that be from a food perspective, from homelessness, things like that, or even just from the perspective of having all the resources available for education.
And Bully's Pantry is located at 120 Morgan Drive there on the MSU campus. All right, so Jacob, you're telling us get a good night's sleep, get up early in the morning to watch this thing.
Yeah, set an alarm. We'll be on CBS this morning by 6 a.m. and storms will be approaching into our area by then. So you'll want to be ready because this line of storms has the chance to cause some serious wind damage as well as bring some tornadoes throughout the area. Now we'll break down the threats, have a full detail on timing, and tell you more of what you need to know coming up right after this.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Jacob Dickey.
There are some light showers pushing through the area this evening. No concern from them, though. We think the severe threat holds off until tomorrow morning early. So tonight will be just fine. It will be a little breezy, and already those winds are coming up a little bit. They're generally between 5 and 15 miles an hour out of the south and east. Here's where those showers are right now. They seem to be traveling north along Highway 45 and pushing off to the east. Some drier weather then towards I-55. As we go through the evening into tonight, still some scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. Temperatures will, however, be slowly warming here. Notice as we go for the next several hours into tomorrow morning, we should be in the upper 60s and lower 70s. So I'll show the temperature map here. Middle 60s, we'll be there actually right about now. But notice the winds. That's what I want you to think of tonight. Winds will be out of the south and east 15 to 25 miles an hour. Some gusts may be as high as 40 ahead of our severe threat. So that may wake you up and rattle some windows. But just know that tomorrow is when we are most concerned for severe weather in our area. And that's because we are getting into the upper 60s, even lower 70s ahead of those severe storms. Wind gusts tomorrow ahead could be as high as 45 miles an hour. Here is our severe risk into the area. There is a level 3 risk, an orange color for most all of Mississippi and Alabama on Saturday. But I don't want you to focus on the colors because that may change tonight into tomorrow. The impacts are going to be the same regardless. We have a long line from north to south across the Twin States of severe thunderstorms that will push through, with the biggest threat being damaging winds. That is where we are focusing our impacts on here. Likely 60 to 80 miles an hour. What that will do is, with, say, saturated ground, bring down trees, perhaps cause some widespread power outages in the area. So be aware of that from 6 a.m. until 2 p.m. Now, what we have to add to the situation is, yes, there is the chance for tornadoes embedded in that line, and that will be something that we watch here moving forth. We also could get a quick 1 to 3 inches of rain in addition. We're most focused on the damaging wind potential, straight line winds, because all of this low-level wind energy overhead, it hasn't been this high in quite some time. This might be the highest it's been in the past couple of years here. That is going to mix in with this squall line coming on in here. So this squall line will have all of that damaging wind potential. And watch what Futurecast is doing here. Yes, there's a few showers ahead of it, but this line marches to the east overnight tonight. And by the time we get to 6 a.m., it's coming into our viewing area with that damaging wind potential. Now, as we watch here, something that we'll have to monitor is there's a narrow opportunity for some individual cells out ahead of this line. And from north to south, that line will be very strong. These cells could enhance that tornado potential a little bit, but again, anywhere in the line has the chance to have an embedded circulation and embedded tornado, and that pushes out of our area into the afternoon. Saturday afternoon and evening then, some breezy southwest winds with some isolated showers and some thinning out clouds. Recap, 6 a.m. till 2 p.m. Be weather aware. Of course, on air, we'll be on tomorrow morning during CBS This Morning starting at 6, as well as doing Facebook Live and on our WCBI mobile app. The main threats, again, damaging winds first, then think tornadoes second. It doesn't take a tornado to cause damage widespread into the air. There's how much rain we expect here moving forth. Unfortunately, there is more rain in the forecast as well. There'll be some batches of showers and storms as we go into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, even into next weekend.
All right, so busy night and then a little bit of a break on Sunday.
Yeah, busy for us. We'll be watching, but I want to reiterate, tonight you can get some sleep, set an early alarm, join us in the morning, and then the morning hours will get a little rough.
And have a plan in place. We can't say that enough.
Yeah, so great place to go if you aren't sure about community shelters, wcbi.com/safety. There's a full list there and some other great info.
All right, sounds good. All right, a new era begins in Starkville today as Mike Leach is officially introduced as the new head football coach. We check in live at Mississippi State next.
Your WCBI Sports with Courtney Robb is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
Today, the 34th head coach of Mississippi State football was introduced in Starkville. Head coach Mike Leach stepping onto the podium in a packed room on campus, ringing his new cowbell in front of the Bulldog faithful and inducting himself into program history. The reaction from MSU fans was clearly electric and excited to have the new coach that athletics director John Cohen dubbed as a proven winner. WCBI Sports' Tom Ebel was there and joins us live now from Starkville with more. Tom, tell us about this afternoon.
Courtney, the Egg Bowl has found a home here in Starkville for 3 of the past 4 years. And in that same time span, add another head coach that will be responsible for keeping the Egg right here in Starkville. Mississippi State officially introducing Mike Leach as the 34th head football coach in the history of Bulldogs football program. You know, if you follow college football, Mike Leach has been known as the architect of the air raid offense. He spent a few years as the offensive coordinator of a record-breaking offense at Kentucky in the late 90s, then brought that same air raid to Texas Tech and Washington State and put up big numbers across the country. Most notably, if you remember here in Mississippi, Gardner Minshew, the quarterback of Washington State, now with the Jacksonville Jaguars, was even brought up in Heisman conversations with Mike Leach as the head coach. So over the past couple of years, Mike Leach has been a name that's popped up in coaching searches almost everywhere you look. But why did he choose Mississippi State? Why did coming to the SEC now as a head coach make sense for Leach? Well, Leach saying today that the recruits in the state of Mississippi offer a unique perspective on college football he's yet to experience in his illustrious career.
There's a unique independence that exists with Mississippi State that doesn't exist other places. You know, there's, you know, they're very direct, very down to earth, and independent in the way they do. You know, there's a gritty toughness here too that I think is. That exists and allows achievement and people to get things done.
The main issue is having a background of winning, having a background of running a football program. You know, it hasn't happened many times in the history of this athletic department in any sport. We've had a sitting head coach at a Power 5 institution who has come to Mississippi State. The only way that happens is if that coach is really wanting to become part of something special here.
John Cohen saying today that he has hundreds of pages of notes throughout this coaching process, speaking with high-valued athletic directors, coaches in the NFL, former players of Mike Leach. John Cohen also saying today that of some of the ADs he spoke with, some of them wish they pulled the trigger on Leach years ago when it came to hiring a head coach. But now the Bulldogs lock up Leach on a 4-year deal worth $5 million per year, with $4.7 million remaining to hire the rest of his staff. But going back to the Egg Bowl, Mike Leach mentioned today how he understands the importance of winning the Egg Bowl, but he wants Mississippi State to set its sights a little bit higher than just the Egg Bowl. He wants to be able to have a national rivalry with multiple schools, to have Mississippi State as one of the best teams in the country. But we'll have more on what the Egg Bowl rivalry means to head coach Mike Leach coming up at 10. But for now, reporting here in the Leo Seal Complex in Starkville, Tom Ebel for WCBI Sports. Courtney, back to you.
All right, you got to appreciate that, raising expectations, huh?
Yeah, and I think fans have really enjoyed the Leach hire. I actually ran a poll on Twitter earlier today asking if people were in favor of it. 90% of those voters said that they were excited about Mike Leach joining and being the new head coach.
I live in Starkville. There is an extraordinary amount of excitement over there about this.
I can imagine.
All right, we're back with the last look at the forecast. Stay with us. Set to songs of Elvis Presley coming to Tupelo this weekend. Blue Suede Shoes is performed by the Alabama Ballet. It tells the story of 3 men as they graduate high school, serve in the military, and then enter their adult lives. It takes more than 40 people to stage this production, and the artistic director says there is a lot to see and hear.
It's timeless, yes. I think it appeals to so many people on so many levels. You know, it could be something that just triggers a memory for you, or if you're experiencing this for the first time, you know, it's a joy. These songs are just timeless.
Yeah, and so...
Performance is tomorrow at 2 o'clock at the Tupelo High School Performing Arts Center. You can get your tickets at the window.
Lots of questions about the severe threat. Wanted to let you know we'll be on after Andy Griffith's show on Facebook Live. You can ask me questions, comments, anything like that to keep us updated with this threat.
All right. We appreciate all the hard work you're doing.
Thank you.
Okay. Your CBS. No, we're done with that. We'll see you at 9 and 10.